Hello, welcome back. Tonight I will speak about a grimoire of mine called Clauneck, which is already written, but I didn't publish yet. And this is a playlist that I created for Clauneck, where I speak about his character, which I started to speak before I wrote the grimoire, and after I wrote it, it's finished, as I said. It is a beautiful grimoire, and Clauneck is a very interesting character. That is, of course, interesting as well to characterize, to imagine. No, so while I for the other grimoires, I always started with the writing of the grimoire, no, and creating the character. And with Clauneck, I was talking before I wrote the grimoire. I was trying to learn and understand different aspects of Clauneck, or different elements that appear in his surroundings, in the images that he showed me, or the visions, so to say, or the elements of Clauneck, where he appeared, the energy that he was carrying, the symbols that he carries, the meaning, the origin, all those aspects, as well as the names, or the name Clauneck, as well as I've said, a magical name. And we have spoken about many different very beautiful elements of Clauneck already in the other recordings, and tonight I will speak about the element or new elements that appear around Clauneck. So we have the element of the monkey. The element of the monkey is if we imagine the places where Clauneck finds himself, especially in the palace or the area of the temple, we can imagine from that surrounding, from that weather or elements we see there, what type of animals one will see there, will find there, what type of birds, or what type of, what type of surroundings exist as well, no? And in the element of the palace, we say, the element of the palace is very much connected to the element of the monkey, like a real monkey, or monkeys. It is to say, where there are palaces, there are in general monkeys, so it's the element of course, has to be the right region for them, or the tropical region, because monkeys are found not in the where it's cold, but where it is very hot or warm, where it's more tropical, where it rains a lot, where there's a lot of vegetation as well. So the element of the desert is interesting as that, because on the element of the sands, which is very much the desert, it's very much the dry element without water, So it has been once ocean or salt or river or lake, and it became the sand or the salt, It does think, sand always makes us think of the sea as well, or the element of the water. So the element of water which is white, and the element of the sand which is dry. And then, of course, we have the elements of the vegetation too. So there are places where there is a lot of vegetation. Very beautiful plants, or very different trees, or different, even palm trees, or large leaves, very big type of trees as well, or plants with big leaves, the element of luxury, the element of something very green, very beautiful. So green is the color of Clauneck, so it fits to the description that fits to him as well. It's almost to say one clue brings us to another, to another idea. And the element of the green appears always where Clauneck is, in the element of the nature, or the grass, or the outside. He likes to be outside as well, in the element of the nature. And the element of the sands, or the temples, or the hot sun, or the very blue sky, is very much connected to the element of Clauneck as well, the element of the metals, the gold or the silver, which is of course precious metals. So they are very important metals, very beautiful metals, and we have the gold with the silver, And this is very much the color of Clauneck. It is the gold and the silver. It is the element of red Burgund, or say Burgundia, red. It's very like a red rich wine. It goes more into the plum, into the violet color. It's a very rich type of red. And then we have the color blue, which represents the royal element of Clauneck. So Clauneck is king. And then we have the element of the temple, which is connected to the element of knowledge as well. So Clauneck is very knowledgeable, but it is not it's always difficult to describe a certain feeling that, so I would say, understand him very well, or I'm able to find meaning in those aspects of him, even if they are different, or he sometimes appears in different way, or he looks different. Sometimes he has dark skin, sometimes he has white skin, so it looks like totally different. At the same time, it is Clauneck. So the almost like different ages or different parts of Clauneck too, that he can have, not maybe 2 or 3 different appearances, so it does appear like that in the places that I have seen him, and sometimes almost like almost not to able to be recognized, because he looks so simple. He looks like he's just a simple man from there, but he is king. We have that contrast element of the personality of Clauneck, or to say, well, he's prince in the castle or in the palace, but he likes to go barefoot on the grass outside. He's very wild child. He's very wild spirit. In that element of the play, and the element of the enjoying something outside in the nature, the element of freedom, the element of the wet water, or the wet sand, or the wet grass, the feet in those elements, or the element of the river or the stones. But it's always like very luxury, very like always with good weather, with the sun. And the sun is very strong when it appears in the element of the desert. That's another important aspect, so that the sun makes it dry, makes it hot, it evaporates the water. It is a different aspect, it's a very dry element, but even in the desert one can find lagoons, one can find elements of water. They are, and they're very tropical and very beautiful as well. So it's like, wow, how is possible? It's like just desert, and then finally you have big type of plants, so it is that contrast. We had the other imagery with the flower in the cactus flowering in the desert. It's very beautiful, very vibrant type of colors. It's the element of something that flowers in the desert where it's very little water. But it is wrong to think that in the desert there is not water. It looks dry, it looks damp, but underneath, there is the element of water, and of course very much connected to the water. Sands come from the water, it's like the element of the seashell as well. That's a very important shape of the seashell. It is very much connected to Clauneck as well. There is the element of the water too, or of the sailor, or the knowledge of the sailor. Maybe it is something that Clauneck likes to study, or it is something, a passion of his, the element of sailing, or the element of water, with the water and the wind, but he likes very much the simplicity. So, if I was to describe Clauneck, first and foremost, even if, as I've said, he has different appearances, but the way he is the most is the element of the philosopher. It is the element of the Greek culture, the element of the seeking of the knowledge, or seeking of, it's like the philosophical part of knowledge as well. And we said the philosophical includes too something that it is part of the magical as well. It's almost like I'm speaking about 3 or 4 different persons, they're all Clauneck, but they are very different. So these two speaks too about the element of the 1 or the element of the 4, which is 4 is very much Clauneck. We say Clau. We have the 2 fours, Clauneck. We say the Clauneck has 3 syllables, but the letters, we have Clau 4 and Neck 4 is the element of the 8 as well, but very much element of the 4. So the element of the 4 speaks about, for me, like if I was to describe, it is a cube, or it's the element of the gold, or the element of the silver. And the element of the colors, and so we have the element of the orange, or the sun, of the yellow, of the white, of the beige, creme, different type of colors, no? So depending on the landscape of the place. At the same time, there is very much the very golden sands or white sands. The sands have a specific, almost like the most beautiful sands. Very fine, very beautiful, and a lot of sands. That's what I see. Then we have the element of the palace, which is very mosaic, has a lot of beautiful tiles with different colors, different very beautiful ornamented. It has the element of the seashell as well. Finally, the palace is made from seashells in form of the sand. No, you don't see the seashells, but it is included in those elements too. Then the element of the throne, the element of the castle, was like the first vision that I had with Clauneck, that image, no, that I include on the car as well. It represents Clauneck. That part of that magician, or that part of the castle which is connected to the element of the magic. So I saw it as a very magical palace or castle, you know. Almost like it's both. In a way, it is more a castle, and that environment was very wet and very cold. It was almost like not in the element of the sun. It was very opposite to that. And that home of Clauneck, no, as well, it is the throne, it's the element of the king, very much represented in that part, no, of Clauneck. At the same time, the other vision was when he was very young and also almost like very free spirit, no, almost the element of the prince, like playing outside in nature, or talking, or speaking about philosophy or different aspects. And there was another one, it was with him in the temple, where it was a temple. It was very clearly a temple. So, and the element of the temple where he walks outside with his donkey, with his, it's like on foot, so that element of that simplicity of Clauneck as well. That's why I said sometimes it is irrecognizable that it is him. Because he enjoys that simplicity, to not be recognized as well. As well as I've explained, the king too has to learn. He too has his own, he's king, of course. He goes to places like temples or outside temples, or one sees him in the palace, or one sees him in the castle, no? But it's quite interesting, the contrast between these elements. In the same time, in the Grimoire of Clauneck, of course, I say, well, when I speak about my grimoires, I analyze aspects just for, describing the book, but my grimoires are, say, it is different, I'm not explaining things in my book. It is a literal work. It is a hymn work or type of verses that tells the story of the character. And of course, the story develops, depending what subject or thematic the character has, with the description of the environment as well. The environment speaks a lot, about those elements that appear and represents the character, or the moment of what the character is doing in that particular place, And it seems very confusing, or maybe very different at first. So, one is like that, one is like that, It's almost like when you have a scale and you put, gold or silver, you put on left and right on the balance, to see which is heavier, which is lighter. Before humans use that to sell things, So the weight, and the element of the balance of that weight, that is very much element of Clauneck as well. The part of the philosopher, which I find very interesting as well, that is a part that brought Clauneck to the element of magic, philosophy, or the element of alchemy. If he is interested in different philosophies, he has his own way to, he's his own scientist, in the meaning that he understands the value of the experiment, or trying to find answers by yourself, To say, if the scientist is a genius, the element of genius is simply that understanding that one creates that meaning, or one creates that aspect. Clauneck is king, but as I've said, is not a typical type of king. He is very specific type of king as well. The part of the philosophy, of course, is very important, no? Because that's the part that he enjoys, obviously, but it's the element of the intellect as well. Well, it's the element of the money, no? It's the element of the gold, it's all the silver, which it is even more precious than money, no? It's the element, but it speaks about that, no? Gold speaks about luxury, or something very beautiful, because it is, no? As well as the silver, and even the colors and nuances, no? It shows a part of his personality. We can think that, well, it is the element of the, of something that is very shiny. We had the element of the pearl as well. And even this, was already different, appears to the element of the monkey. We say it is still correlated to the element of the sands or of the temple, no? And the element of the monkey always speaks about good fortune, no? The element of monkey is element of king as well, or element of good luck, or this is a very positive, very beautiful as well. And the element of the darker skin of Clauneck, or the element of the night, appears too. It's well, he is, so to say, that appearance, with the elements that represent him. He likes to represent himself with that element already, of course, in the correct way. It is very beautiful as well. And the element of writing as well, the element of, Clauneck is very serious about that work, or that discovery or study, or whatever interest he has at that moment. It is, maybe today he starts with this and he works for a very long time on a subject, or maybe then he doesn't work at all on any subject, he has that part of personality as well. So it is quite interesting, for me too, because once he is very solitary, once he is in a different place, once he is in the palace, once he is in the castle, so there are very particular places and different places as well. And of course, in the Grimoire, I try to recreate those elements as well, which are represented at level of Clauneck too. It's like the language has to fit as well, or the verses have to create a story, And the element of the name I find interesting as well, Clauneck. It said it is a very magical name. Every time it's pronounced differently. It carries, every time one pronounces it, element of magic, or it's like a special sound that it comes out, It's like maybe in the beginning you cannot pronounce it easily. It does not matter. It should come like that. It will always come in a different way when you try to pronounce it. It will never be the same. I don't know why, but this comes, it came in other recordings as well, So once you say Clauneck, maybe once it's Clauneck, or I don't know, it's just different sound. It's always a different sound somehow with that name. And for me too, when I started to read, it's like I really could not remember. It was very difficult, and so it is for me. It meant that it is more like a magical name. It carries the element of the spark too, or something, The element of the spark is the element of Clauneck. It's almost like a spark that appears in the night. We say maybe you are outside in the garden, there's a certain spark or a certain light, It's like the element of the stars too, which are like just a speckle of light, of the gold or of the silver. It is an element of the color gold, or the element of real gold, as the element of the silver, like real silver, in coins, or does not matter. It's the precious metal or metals, which represent him. It's always element of Clauneck. So he is always in that parts that have these two elements. And I fit very well to the element of the sun too, no? Of course, when you think of gold, it is the color of the sun. The gold is very much connected to the sun, no? It is a very beautiful metal, very precious metal. I love gold. Gold, I think it's very, loved by many people. It's a very good, very beautiful material. And, of course, has a certain properties, no? In a chemical way, or how hard the metal is, or how different, of course there are differences too in the gold, or in the gold quality, but it is element connected to the sun, which of course is very much the element of the sands, or the palace, or the element of the temple. It always appears in the element of the sands, and I find that quite beautiful, It's like how one thing becomes to another. Today he discovers like this sentence means this. Maybe he translates books, or maybe it's always the element of the book, but a certain interest in the book. It's almost like a young boy that finds a book and he gets occupied like 4 days in, I don't know, discovering something, or trying something by his own. That element of exhilaration or happiness, or it's very much Clauneck. It brings that element out. It is simply the joy of the moment, no? It is the moment of exhilaration or acceleration, or something fast, the element of the spark as well. Of course, the element of celebration too, when we think of the element of the little sparks, no? And it speaks about the element of the gold and the silver. It offers that sparkle. It sparkles. It is very beautiful. And the element of shells too. It is a hard material. So, well, of course, it's different to the gold. It is very different. So, well, the gold comes from the earth, more from the mountain, from different source. Of course, connected with water. They're all, it's not like, but it's different. And the element of the shell is the element of the water, or the element of the sand, and they have, say, different form as well, no? But the element of the shell, or the shells, no? There are, I think, that it has a certain shape to them, a certain beauty to them as well, or it speaks to, of course, about the origin of Clauneck. The element of the temple, or the element of the learning in the temple, no? So there's a place where Clauneck, it's like studying, or with books, or there are certain writings, or certain things, or maybe even in a temple, certain, maybe, I don't know, like a ritual, or some type of learning, the element of the scientist, it's always like difficult to, as I said, to describe, because it's always something different, it changes. His personality is very, sometimes you say like the weather, in a funny way, but it is not a critic, it's simply the way he is, it changes, it's very sparkly, it's very, almost like flamboyant, but in a masculine way. It is not, it's just flamboyant. He likes to show himself. I find a very beautiful quality of that. It's always about taking payment. But at the same time, we have the other part where he just shows himself very simple. But always the element of clown, very elegant, very beautiful. One sees that one is king too, or he is known in that part where maybe he lived, I don't know. It is correlated to him. So, well, I don't have an explanation why in one he looks like that, one in the other vision looks like that, but all the symbols fit, and it's, for me it's Clauneck. It is the element of him. Just a different representation, a different time, or a different place where Clauneck has been. In the same time, the most part of Clauneck is always sitting on the throne. Sometimes he sits very straight, very almost like the pose of the king, And sometimes he sits very relaxed when he speaks, more relaxed, or with someone close to him, It's a different position, but still on the element of the throne. It's very much connected to Clauneck. The element of the throne is always with the element of Clauneck. He always sits on the throne. It is Clauneck. As well, the throne has the element of the magical too, no? And so it has different symbols. The element of power is the element of, of course one can discuss, but that's not the point. So Clauneck sits on the throne, does not matter. The throne is not, because it's the focus on Clauneck. But the element of Clauneck that almost like changes it. One observes then the element of the throne and how beautiful the elements around him are. What type of art or how type of beauty of delicacy or something very ornamented, very beautiful made. It is that element of very high quality, high value, high class, something very beautiful. And of course all the elements we had until now are very beautiful, no? Very special type of elements. We have the pearl, we have the sands, we have the water, we have the gold, we have the silver, we have many symbols that come, because he's king. The king comes with many symbols. It is like that, no? And in the element of the philosopher part of Clauneck, it is more the element of the fire. It's like a little fire. It's in temple. There is always the element of the fire, no? Like a little, no? To say, yeah. For a specific moment or time, no? For a specific maybe a ritual or something that Clauneck studies, no? Is the element too. We have the element of the sound of the metal or the coins. That's very much Clauneck, the sound of metals moving or making the sound of the metal. Especially the gold and the silver, it has a special sound to it. And the most interesting part too is that he has a lot of things that appear around him, symbols and this and that, and one sees very beautiful because he shows that already. At the same time, his position or the way he appears is always very tranquil, very open, very joyful, very can be even serious, but it's the element, I say, something magical that attracts one to Clauneck. Almost as if Clauneck always knows how to attract attention in a good way, but not in a selfish way, It is not, to say, as I said, Clauneck is not a foolish king. One should not disrespect Clauneck, of course, no? So one should not disrespect no one or not disrespect the king. There is a different quality to that as well, no? So of course you cannot criticize or say there is nothing to criticize about Clauneck as well. So all his qualities or all his parts that he shows are very beautiful, and one can be almost say thankful or grateful for him showing that, or sharing that. So what one has to understand from where the element of the value comes, no? So if I was to take the palace away and take the throne away, Clauneck will still be Clauneck. That's what Clauneck is. He does not need a throne, but the element of the throne appears very strongly, One sees this type of deep part of Clauneck, It's like it demands respect, and one gives respect away. And there is a certain sometimes freedom that comes with him, joyful, depending on the moment or what he shares or what story or no. Or sometimes he can be very solitary or just an element of him. Or in the temple is more about knowledge or learning or praying, It is a different type of place at Clauneck. It's very much connected to the element of the silence. And the palace is almost like the sands are so much it covers a little the palace. The palace is open, it's the middle of the desert, and it's very beautiful. It has all these mosaic, beautiful colors and columns and it's like, well, it had, maybe the sand came in. Maybe it wants to say it is older temple, And the element of castle is very interesting. It's very, very different. That was the first visual, the first image that Clauneck that I saw him, was that element that brought me to the interest of him as well. Of course, I wanted to write a book about him. I already had the interest before, but it almost like it gave me an idea. It gave me something to work on, and it was very magical. It's almost like it was very captivating, no? That gaze of Clauneck is very captivating. And then we have the element of the pelemigrage, pelemigrage. So when you go on the like a pilgrim, no? Pilgrimage or something. I don't know the word, because it's more specific word. It's not necessarily the correct word that I was trying to find, but it more speaks more about the past. It's almost like Clauneck shows us something from the past. It's always like here, something that has been. It's almost like a certain photography or photo or something like that. So the element of the past, it's that element from what one can learn, no? So the element of Clauneck is connected to, maybe he finds a book takes his interest, and then he studies a lot, and then he gets new ideas, and then he gets excited. The idea of knowledge excites him. And knowledge in a different way, it can be knowledge being playful outside, or the knowledge about sharing something like a story, like me talking to him, or him seeing me, or me seeing him and sharing that moment, or the element of the throne, the way he appeared, which is of course the right representation of Clauneck on the throne, in the element of the palace, so almost like in the middle of the palace. It's the energy of Clauneck takes all that place, it's his, it has its huge aura. He is very beautiful, It's almost like he is surrounded by a golden light, or there is something silvery about him. It's like this element of the magic. You cannot take the eyes away from him. You cannot, almost like, it's that beautiful. It's that unique. And so Clauneck is a king, and Clauneck is a very good king. That's very much the first thing that came, and that interest and that beauty and that element of his personality, it is so unique that of course it's pleasurable to describe his personality, or the way he is, or the differences too that appear around him, or the similarities too. And the element of the monkey is very much Clauneck, so almost like monkeys can appear around him, or he has that element, or it speaks to about the set. Sometimes it speaks very much about the origin. It's always like, the origin of Clauneck, from where he comes, or what type of family, or what type of history, So if he's king, he was prince, was interested to know who his father was, or the lineage of Clauneck, So the element of the royal. But from the name, I will more incline that it's more French, but also the element of the Greek too appears very strong, or he has very dark hair. Sometimes appears from a very from hot countries, or even sometimes colder countries. And then we have the element of the castle, where it's almost like from a different world. It's like a place that only Clauneck knows where it is. That palace that he appears. It's that image that appears on the cover too of the Grimoire, and it's that image that multiplicates itself, the element of multiplication. So it is a higher type of knowledge or intelligence as well. The element of multiplication, so the element of the scale too, weighting the weight of something, and then put the gold and you see how much it is. It's the element of the metal. That offers that scale, the element too. It's very clear material. The metal is very shiny, very beautiful, as well as the element of the silver. And then the element of the stairs, or the element of many rooms, as one finds in palaces, or even in temples, or even in castles, especially if the castle is very large. Many different rooms. The element of duplication, multiplication. It's almost like it felt like endless type of rooms, or the columns repeats themselves. Then the staircase moves. The element of things have it's different type of castle. So it's a castle of Clauneck. And then we have the element of the sea, or the seashells. It's almost like there are elements almost like taken that is Clauneck, or but it's in a different place. It's almost like outside it's just one sees some type of weather, but it does not know where that castle is, or one cannot even say, especially because it's magic or seems magical, no? So I can only say, well, it is, I don't know, from another world, or different place where Clauneck is, or it's almost like, okay, it is his palace that it is clear, maybe it appears or exists, the type of palace or type of temple where the rooms repeats themselves in this figurative form that Clauneck appears to. But the element of the old palaces or ancient temples or ancient palaces are very much connected to Clauneck as well. As I've said, element of the castle seems more futuristic, or seems like from a different time, or I cannot really precisely say in which time, Then we have I can only say it's very different environment. There is a cold environment, it is wet, it's more rain. And the castle looks very big, very large, looks like almost like black, The outside, the inside is very warm, it's very beautiful, a lot of candles, it's a lot of music, it's very much luxury, very beautiful design everywhere, gold and different embroidery and different mirrors and different materials, and it is, I've said, exquisite. It's very, very beautiful, Then, of course, the palace has different gardens, but the castle seems more enclosed. It is like closed. Everything is closed there. It is dark, but the light comes from the candles. And then the different stairs, or the staircase, is one that goes round, and sometimes, like secret chambers or rooms, and it is magical. It seems like, well, I cannot describe it differently, Or one sees things in the mirror. It's almost like some type of spirits exist there, or some type of, I cannot call them ghosts. At the same time, I don't know, it's almost like the spirits of others, It's, has that element of the magical part that represents Clauneck too, in some way or another, It is the element of the king that gives, or it's the element of the king that helps, or it's the element of the king that shares his, that element of the home of his, It is element of honor. It speaks about the honor of Clauneck. Then we have to say the element of the books too. It's like different type of libraries, or different type of very beautiful books, or to see it very large, with, say, very velvet, right type of colors with wood, and all very beautiful editions, collection of books, It is very much Clauneck. Clauneck loves books. It is, books bring him joy. He is always seen with the book. He always has the book. It is always the element of the book. If it's no book, no Clauneck. It's almost like he always carries the book. It does not matter where. Outside, inside, the book is around him always. Well, the book is that part of the learning of Clauneck is always seen with the book in the hand. It is an element of seriousness as well. Then, in the image of the throne, he does not appear with the book. The book is around him. It's not that it's always in his hand, But he appears always. The element of the book is there, mostly by close to him, or in his hands as well, or reading from it, or speaking about it, or even when walking outside, it's in this element of the temple, he carries that book, or from the book he reads, It is, let's say, it is something he enjoys. He enjoys books. Well, of course, the element of knowledge too. It's like the element of the person that loves books, has beautiful books, and almost like creates his own books. The element of writing as well. He is a good craftsmanship. He has an element to write or draw very beautiful as well. And so it's the very creative type of personality that Clauneck has. And then in the element of the talking, the element of the discussion, it's always the element of surprise, it's always the element of fun, it's always the element of jokes after jokes or type of intellectual questions. You know, it's a part of that freedom, that part of him that actually is very serious and too serious, and then he allows himself to be more childlike, or you know, it gives a different spirit or different type of experience for him that he learns to, you know, it is different parts of his personality as well. It's not to say, well, it's separate, it's all different, it's 4 or 5, you know, it's almost like when one describes, you know, it's almost like one gets a little like, but I want to say that, that element of the magical is very much Clauneck. It's almost like one gets a little lost in his magic or in his power, you know. It's like almost like when you see gold, you get a little lost. It's just like, oh, gold, you know. It's simply that beautiful. When you see a palace first, and so beautiful, you get a little like, oh, you know, it's that first reaction that it is something very beautiful. But the element of strange too can appear around Clauneck, you know, or different aspects that to say are not necessarily, I don't know, positive, like the element of something weird or strange, or element of, I don't know, ghosts, or I don't know, maybe other people like are scared, no? What to say? Well, it speaks to me about that part of the outer worldly castle of Clauneck, where Clauneck resides, or where he finds himself. Well, it is his home, no? It is his castle or palace as well. And then the element of the temple where he visits or he goes, where he, as I said, works or reads. It's this part where he almost like he does his work as well, no? There is that element of almost like he has the element of the tongue, of the word, of the reading, of the talking, communication. He is natural in that. It is the natural quality of him, and that's very important for him as a king. But at the same time, to have that, sometimes he goes in the element of the silence, where he likes to be by himself, or we just let's say more more by himself, I would say, no? And then we have other aspects like the color. It is very ivory, very cream. It's always very high quality of colors, or blue, or green, or pink, as I've said, orange, white. Of course, the element of the black. No, of course, it's like the more black, the element of the skin, black skin that appears Clauneck too, is that part too, no, of very much who Clauneck is. So we have the element of the dark almost represented in the element of him. It is integrated with him. It is, it is not a costume, it is the skin, no? It speaks to us too, but it represents something as well. And almost when I don't know it, I know always, well, it speaks about his origin. That's what he always says. That's what his answer. It speaks about my origin. That's what the repetition is, no? But it's the element of the interest too, the curiosity, because it is interesting, his origin, it is almost like a joke as well. The element of the intellect is always the element of the joke. One does not take things so seriously. And that's the way Clauneck is. He is very much childlike, in a way of character, personality, or qualities are very young. And then we have the element of the fire, where it's a little fire, it's like the spark, or it's like a cozy fire. That element of the warmth is very much speaks to the gold, the element of the sun as well, but it's like in a different form, the element of the natural light as well, the element of the sun in the sky, that's the element of him enjoying being outside, the element of the rain as well, green grass, the green color, as well the element of color blue. It speaks about serenity. So well, he has very specific, very unique type of character, Clauneck. And we say one knows he's king. One knows that he's a good king, a giving king, And the element of magical, I think, always appears when it's Clauneck, because every image that he is, even if it's just sand and it's not his outer world little castle, it's like seems a little like but the element of the magic always appears in every image. You say, well, once it's a lot of sand enters, almost like the temple is covered apart in the sand, or the other temple is like very ancient and, like one does not know the entrance, or the other temple is very simple, it's very sacred, where it's always for prayer, or the element of the Greek temple as well, it was used to for learning as well. So, well, for the Greeks, in the temples they will sing, or they will recitare, they will speak or recite different verses or different songs or different music, or it was totally silent in the meaning of the prayer, the meaning of that element of knowledge as well, but very much element of learning, all around temples. If it's not in the temple, it is around temple, it will be that element of learning. Or maybe the school close to the temple, or the element of the simple village, or something very, as in the past, does not have to be a big village, maybe just a few houses, it's a very solitary type of environment that Clauneck enjoys. So that too speaks about his personality as well, what type of king he is. He's a very fine king, he's very exquisite. These elements appeared the first time when we spoke about Clauneck, the element of the le connoisseur, l'exquisite, the element of je ne sais quoi, my little French that I know, but it is exactly that actually, It is very much the element of the finesse, of that French aspect of Clauneck as well. So it is more the Mediterranean part, as well. Maybe it's from the origin, we don't know. Maybe it's Greek, or maybe it could be a different continent, or it could be different than what we think, but the origin of Clauneck. So one sees very much the element of the king in the element of the temple, in the element of the palace, in the element of the castle. These three appear mostly, like all the time. This is the part of Clauneck too. It's very, very much grounded. The element of the four, the four corners, perfect grounding, something durable that stays, something beautiful, and element of four, that formation of the stone or the columns, or things that put together, and then something beautiful is created, or how the temples sometimes even carry like very strong type of stone, very, very hard type of stone, or maybe it carries more soft sand type of stone as well. It's different. And then the colors in the temple is more like ochre, or some type of red, orange, type of yellow type of colors. Sometimes even pink, which I find very beautiful, with the color of peach, or it's not orange, like more ochre, more to the brown, like more peach color, or yellow or white. Sometimes the element of the green, the element of the blue as well. And then in the castle it is more dark, and said it is not, you don't see colors so much, or you see the reds and the blues, but it's more like artificial color, artificial light in some way or another. Well, not really artificial because it's candlelight, but I don't know, the environment is very different, that castle is, or palace, both seem so differently as well, and we see Clauneck appear in the same way on the throne. And then the element of the turban that he carries on his head speaks to the element of the king, as well about the element of the origin. Even if he does not always wear it, it is element of honor too, and it is part of who he is, the way he dresses as well, And then we have the element of the robes, very beautiful light type of colors or materials, At the same time, there's almost like a certain type of painting on his hands, or some type of colors as well. You know, there's a lot of elements that attract attention. It's very beautiful, but it's not false because it is Clauneck. He does carry the elements of the symbols around him, which I've said with the element of the metal, the gold, the money, you know, the element of the storm maybe, or the element of the gold and the silver. You know, these two elements are very much representative in his personality as well. It always appears around him. Always the element of the gold around him in one way or another. Through the color, through the gold itself, through the gold coins, or through the color of green, or represents money as well. With the four corners, not the element of the 4, very much Clauneck, or the element of the 8, or the element of the 2. Then we have the element of 3, 5, or the element of 6 too, as well as Clauneck, or of course element of 7, which is very a lucky number, the element of 7. Then we have the element of 8 very much with the turbano, and there's different symbols too that he has around them. It's very much element of the 8. Almost like the 2 is almost like a half 8, you know, because it goes like that but does not go fully back. So it's like the 2 looks like an 8 in the beginning, but then it goes differently, you know. The same like 3 and 9. 3 has 2, 9 has 1, no? So when you see the top only, you think it could be a 3 or it could be a 9. One does not know necessarily. And then, you know, it's very fun. It's always a little like, his personality is, almost like the life of the party, is that element of something so pleasant to be around him, no? And the element of very beautiful speech, or the element of the intellect, the way he speaks, it's very, very beautiful. It's like, people enjoy the company of Clauneck, and Clauneck enjoys that too. And, I think that's very much Clauneck, you know. It's like all the other presentations, of course, are aspects of almost like his domain, or his homes, or the places, or the part of the history. It's all very important, part of the lineage, part of his representation, no? But Clauneck finally is very noble type of spirit, noble type of soul. It's very much king, and very good king, very giving king, you know. Could not be better king than Clauneck, no? And it's quite interesting how different aspects Clauneck has as the king, as well as the part of personality that makes him so special and so beautiful. I will continue another time. Thank you so much for listening. As I've said, Clauneck is not yet published, but I will publish soon. But you can listen to the playlist from for Clauneck that I made from the beginning. Thank you so much for listening. I will continue another time. All the best. Bye.